It's time for the Pestrogen podcast with your hosts, Jenny and Kandyce.
Hello, everyone. It is Jenny with Pestrogen Podcast. Thank you for catching us for this awesome episode. This week was a big week for me. I worked very long days. I think on my birthday alone, I think I did like a 15-hour day, which, to be fair, on that day of my route, it's usually like my biggest day. So I kind of knew what I was in for that day, but the whole highlight of my week so far was that other than visiting family, if you watch the YouTube, you'll tell I am not in my normal setting here. I am with family right now. So thank you, Jack Starry from Tales from the Crawl Space, for my travel microphone, because that definitely came in handy today. But I got to go on an adventure with a nature reservation with the one and only Kevin from All Bugs Go to Kevin. So if you haven't heard of that group on Facebook, go there. It is awesome. I know this is a pest control podcast, so that group, in the group, you're not allowed to talk about pest control. It's about insects and conservation and things like that. But working in pest control, it is awesome to read and learn about all that stuff. So I had a good time. He is just as awesome in person as I thought he would be. So that was awesome. But without further ado, my co-host, Kandyce. How are you, Kandyce?
Pretty good. Happy belated birthday to you, beautiful lady.
Thank you.
And just realized that your birthday is the day after my oldest's birthday. Yeah, Brandon thought your birthday was the 27th. That's why he gave you the happy birthday like a day before.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's tomorrow.
That's cute.
But yeah, the week has been long. It's the end of the month. Everything always happens. For whatever reason, we always end up having all of our like big properties at the end of the month. Like the last full week, we have like 3 huge apartment complexes we have to do. And it's just like, why did we do this?
Yeah.
But we always get it done. It's just time consuming, obviously. So yes, this week has been a little bit more than previous weeks, but it's done. It's over. Got one more day this month. And then at the end of this week, taking the kids to the quote-unquote big city for both of their birthdays, because we're a little bit late on Jude's. Kyra's was just the other day. Let them go have some fun. So we decided to take Jude out of school Friday so we can go do it, so I can be home in time to record next week's podcast with you on Saturday.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's much overdue. Them kids deserve it. They're good kids.
No.
But this week, we are talking mosquitoes. Kind of similar to kids,
Yes.
or buzzy in your ear. But we have 2 great people with us. We have Suann from Pennsylvania and Francis from Nigeria. So this is going to be super cool because obviously bugs are bugs, but they can probably be pretty different depending where in the world you might actually be. So how are you doing today, Suann?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's pretty early here for me still. Well, I mean, not super early. It's 9 o'clock. But so like I told Jenny, there won't be any rum shots today. More than likely espresso shots at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I have wings today, so.
Yeah, I got one of those too, just in case I run out of coffee. And then we
I've
also
already
have.
had a pot of coffee today, so I'm drinking water now. So
I got
Go.
oh, of course it's going to be too bright. There we go. Says you magical bastard. My husband bought it for me for my birthday a few months ago.
That's awesome.
Francis, all the way over in Nigeria. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing over there?
Doing pretty good. I think I am the farthest one away from you, being on the west coast of the United States. But, so, I mean, our worlds are probably insanely different, even climate-wise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my
How's the
gosh.
weather over there?
It's pretty overcast right now. Sorry if you guys hear my dog in the background. It's pretty overcast right now. It's been off and on raining. We've had weeks of flash floods. It's been fun trying to figure out pest control when it's randomly flooding.
Oh gosh.
That's great. That's great.
So, what got both of you into doing mosquito control? And Suann, what got you into mosquito control?
So if you would have asked me this 10 years ago that I would be doing mosquito control, I'm not sure that I would have believed you. So I've been in the business for about 10 years. I actually got involved. So I was an owner of a thrift and gift store, and I needed some supplemental income. So I was perusing to see what was out there, and I got an administrative position that really worked with my schedule, was allowed me to have some flexibility, and it was with a very generous guy who owned a landscaping company that has like 5 crews and was hoping to take it to the next level. But it was very well rounded. So he does like your fertilization, did the mowing, did your irrigation, lighting, and did mosquito and tick control. And so my first day on the job, he wanted me to go out in the field in shadow so that I knew what the employees were doing, so that I had a better understanding of what we did. And so that's, I guess, where I got my first insight to what mosquito and tick control entails. So
That's awesome. Okay. What about you, Francis?
Well, mine was more of a campaign. You know, when you go through the statistics globally, Nigeria accounts for the highest mortality rate when it comes to malaria. And of course, you know that malaria is caused by the bite of a female Anopheles mosquito. And so, because here in Nigeria, those in authority are not taking proactive steps to ensure that they combat, this vector. So I decided beyond the business aspect of this, I decided to start up a campaign called End Malaria in Nigeria. And so through this campaign, we've been able to push, our ideas, the need for government to adopt preventive measures rather than curative measures in the fight against malaria. And also, we've been able to demonstrate to those in authority that lava source management could be a very effective way of taking care of mosquito within communities.
That's awesome. That's really cool that you're right up there and trying to, well, help your whole nation. That it's just something that can be fixed if people just take the proper steps to fix it, and you're trying to show them that there are steps to take. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Very smart.
So what about you, Suann? After getting rid of their harborage and their stagnant water areas, how do you do it? Do you use the Intacares? Do you fog, mist, all of it?
So we really utilize all of it depending on what the individual property would need. But again, the key component is to try to be able to stop the breeding cycle. And so you want to be able to focus on what you can. Some sites that have more, so of course in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of different, at least in the area that we live in, some area is very wooded, some area we have some marshland, and so you have to be able to accommodate a person's residential, like a development, in a different way than I would somebody who borders a wooded area or has some marshland on there. So we have to be able to adjust depending on, and we've used some sort of larvicide, especially where we need to be careful with wetlands, and we need to be able to, we don't want to necessarily use a fogger or sprayer just because we don't want to get anything into the water sources. And so we use foggers in areas that we need them. We do use the in-two care buckets. We see pretty good results, but again, it also depends on the type of mosquito, because I feel like the in-two care buckets work really well with like in our area, we have a large problem with the Asian tiger mosquitoes. And so they tend to work really well with those. as our daytime biters, but often you have just the regular house mosquito too in the evening, where I don't know that the in-2-care buckets work as efficiently for those. I feel like that more of the fogger is more efficient for that type. So again, we have to cater by each individual property. And of course, being a small business, we're able to do that.
Yeah, that is helpful. I'm small business too, so being able to cater it per person, and like I said, I don't do mosquitoes, but even just general pest control, being able to cater it perfectly to each location is just magical sometimes.
Yes, yes.
And I can only imagine that being the same with mosquitoes, because I have a pond out front of my house, and we don't usually keep fish in it because, well, the random birds will come by. Like I said, I live at the ocean. We have seagulls. They come and eat my fish. So, but for a while, we forgot to turn the fountain and the filter and everything on it, so it was literally just stagnant water, not thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, we just had all these mosquitoes all the time, and I'm going, oh my god, the pond, hello. So we went and bought a bunch of 10-cent little feeder goldfish. I think I had 100 of them in that pond, and just threw them in there and didn't feed them any fish food, and those larvae were gone, because you could see them there one day, and then the next day they were gone. And I'm going, all right, now you guys can have regular fish food. And they didn't have a mosquito problem anymore. So unfortunately,
That's awesome.
I know that can't be done everywhere, but it is helpful if you have a pond.
Yeah.
And mine's really small, contained. It's in a plastic thing, it's not in the ground.
Mm-hmm. And those environmental controls, kind of like what Francis was saying too, is so crucial. And then when you can use a bioengineering way like Kandyce, then it's even better for the environment, because you're just feeding the cycle. And I love that. That's when I did the greenhouse pest application, I could do I could order parasitic wasps to tackle on my aphids or whatever, and that was a lot of fun. I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah, but when it comes to insect growth regulators, so with the larvicides, what kind do you, for your climate, for your area, do you prefer to use? I use a granule. I use Alticid. So when I approach a property for mosquito control, I'm weird, and I'll pretend I'm like a robot, and I'll walk and I'll scan the landscape, and if it hasn't rained recently, I'll try to imagine where water would pool if it did rain, and that's where I will place my Alticid granules or whatever. So when it comes to insect growth regulators, what do you guys prefer? With Francis, we saw a video where he was using a spray oil base larvicide. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Francis, or what kind of insect larvicides you like?
Oh, okay. Well, we basically we use abamectin as an active ingredient to
Mm-hmm.
take care of the larvas in ponds, drainages.
Mm-hmm.
I know your environment is a bit, much more advanced, than ours. Here you have a whole lot of places where mosquitoes can actually breed. You have
Mm-hmm.
open drainages. You have poor waste management, where mosquitoes,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, when you have open dumping, there are articles that are receptor, water receptor, where mosquitoes can actually lay eggs and all of that. And so, in such an environment, it becomes the major, I mean, method to use is to ensure that those receptors, those places, those breeding sites are taken off. And that's why in our own organization, we recognize the fact that because it is a very big problem, no individual can take care of it. And that's why we are calling on government. It's the government's major responsibility to see that all of these factors are being taken care of. One, ensure that we no longer practice open dumping. Because when you practice open dumping in communities, it means that you're provided breeding site for mosquitoes. When you have open drainages that flows to nowhere, you've provided water for mosquitoes to breed. Ordinarily those drainages are supposed to flow from your home down to perhaps a collection point or where it can be recycled for other purposes, agricultural purposes or other purposes. But these drainages are leading to nowhere and providing, a breeding, site for mosquitoes. And so it's the government that has to take those responsibilities. So no matter what we do, as individuals, as professionals, it's limited compared to when government has a full-scale intervention. I will give you an example. Between 1998 and 2001, 2002, the UNICEF, World Bank, and about four world bodies, came together, and they wanted to carry out what we call rollback malaria in Nigeria. A lot of funds were pumped into all of this. I remember we told them that all of these methods you're using cannot solve the problem. A huge amount of money was pumped into this project, but Nigeria continued to record 300,000 deaths annually as a result of malaria. And this is a huge loss and an unavoidable loss. And so it's also about the intention of those in authority to want to take care of all of these methods, all of these problem, by ensuring that they adopt the right method, in taking care of those problems. And that is what we are showing them, by going into communities, using the best, doing the best we can do, which is, of course, larviciding the few drainages we can larvicide, just to reduce, a mosquito bite within a period of time, which is not a permanent solution. It's just a temporary solution, as long as those problems continue to exist in those places, until there is a proper, restructuring of the, environment to ensure that the metamorphosis of mosquito is truncated before they get to the adult age. Until those methods are adopted, then we'll continue to have a recycling of those problems.
That's very true. Because, they can try doing it their way, and obviously, like you said, it's not working. They need to work with you guys, because you obviously know how to get it done, and then get it done correctly and reduce those numbers. 300,000 is insane. That's insane. Mm-hmm. And they have the solution if they would just listen to their pest control there. But as we know, everywhere, people don't like to do that, whether it be way up highs or way down lows. What do we know?
Right. And that's like, I was at a warehouse type place this past week, and I was like, hey, behind your building has a lot of flooding, and, you need to do something to have drainage in the back of your building. Oh, that's a city problem. We don't own that back there. And it's kind of like that, but on a much larger scale in Nigeria. But we get that sometimes too, like, oh, that's a city problem or whatever. But that's
chalk
insane.
It up to somebody else.
Yeah. So Suann, what kind of larvicides, IGRs do you use?
So, we use the dunks, and of course, then the dunks have the granulars that I like to use too. I also, like in our fogger, we will use Nygaard if we have a property that really struggles to maintain the population just because of the environment around it. So that's an added that we will use as an IGR. Also, the fungicide that's used in the into care buckets really stops the breeding cycle. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the into care buckets, but of course the science behind them are just phenomenal. There's a little netting. Of course, it's a perfect little mosquito environment. It's a container of stagnant water And of course, the mosquito comes and lands on the bucket or lands on the netting that has the fungicide on it, and they lay their eggs in there. Of course, the water is then contaminated, so they're not going to breed to be full adults. And then the nice thing is that sticks on the mosquito, the adult mosquito, when they go and they land somewhere else, they spread that fungus. Also contaminate that area of body of water so that it can't continue to raise adult mosquitoes, and it deteriorates the mosquito itself. So the science behind that tool is just phenomenal, what it is able to offer. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's,
Okay, so some of our more funny questions. We had one from Mr. Dan Bird. He said, "Why mosquitoes be mosquitoing?" However you want to answer that. Probably just why are they such a pain in the butt, minus the diseases that they can bring.
Yeah.
We all know that one. But essentially, however you want to answer that one. Dan's just got a very different, funny sense of humor, so he obviously had to be goofy about it. He's a good guy, though.
oh, Dan the Bug Man.
I don't mind answering that. So I guess in a way you figure that it's survival. Mosquitoes are really put on this earth to breed. That's their main function. And of course, without a blood meal, they're not going to be able to do that. And so just like we fight every day for survival, we go to work to be able to provide for our families and whatnot. It's their role and is to be able to breed, to be able to keep procreating. So
Yeah.
They just be mosquitoing.
yep, that's why they're mosquitoing.
And Francis is like, they be mosquitoing for war. I'm going to kill them. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to stop them from mosquitoing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
we
a good
do.
way to put it. Yes.
We don't want mosquitoes to be mosquitoing anymore.
No.
Yes.
No, we don't want them.
Yeah, and like I said, like I don't have a whole lot here that we deal with, but I still do the trying to eliminate environments. I have this one apartment that this lady thinks that she needs to collect the rainwater, which technically is illegal here in Oregon. But so she has this huge 50-gallon drum underneath one of the drain pipes, and every time I walk by it, I carry a big knife on me because we have to fight a lot of Norway rats trying to fight us. But I'll walk by it and just slam my knife into the lower area of it and just watch it drain. And I'm like, there you go. And then she's always, well, I don't know what happened to that. I'm like, I don't know either.
Exactly. Whoops.
I'm like, you're just, because they are literally right on the beach. Apartment, ocean. I'm like,
yeah.
You have water. Yes, it's salt water, whatever. No, absolutely not. So yeah, I've told the property manager that I do it just in case she complains. But I'm like, it's stopping the mosquito source that will be there eventually. So absolutely not. And he's like, yeah, okay, fine, go for it, because she's not supposed to be doing it anyways.
Yeah, right. My little answer on Dan's why mosquitoes be mosquitoing, this weekend when I took my daughters to that nature walk with Kevin from All Bugs Go to Kevin. It was really magical because I got to walk behind them while Kevin spoke with my 8-year-old and my 9-year-old about how important every insect is in the role play of life, that bugs break down our poop, bugs break down dead animals, bugs do this and that, but that pest control and mosquito control is still super important because of disease and health concerns and stuff. So I thought that was super beautiful to have somebody else tell my kids that, because I preach it and I want them to have the passion. But yeah, it was beautiful. So
well, what mom says is never true.
Exactly. So then I was just beaming behind them like, yes. So yeah, good times.
Basically the synthetic chemicals, they've become a physiological there's this physiological resistance to these synthetic chemicals, and we are advocating uh, biolarvicide, you know, which is of course more environmental friendly, and also, targets the mosquito larva itself without being fatal to other aquatic life and all of that. And so here in Nigeria, especially in Africa, you have this a neem tree. The neem tree, the neem oil is very, very effective, when it comes to, having a, biolarvicide, and we have been advocating, that, this is, explored in building, in creating a biolarvicide that would be used, not just in taking care of mosquitoes here in Nigeria, but, generally, all over the world. But the manufacturers of synthetic insecticides are just more interested in these businesses, without, also taking account the fact that nature, has provided all of these means for us, and we need to take advantage of it.
Yes, beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
Yes,
like
that-
all these new things that are coming out, like the apprehend and everything. That's like the fungus that attacks it, because apparently the same thing happens with spiders. And then, as Suann was saying, with the Enticare, that's cool. Like, that's super cool to me that it's it's nature fighting nature, and we get to use it. We get to utilize that.
Yeah.
That's super cool to me, because it's like, it's way better than just broadcast spraying a pesticide and just hoping for the best. Yeah, to actually have that nature attacking nature, because it obviously works in nature.
Yeah.
So why can't we utilize it?
right. Environment
The only
friendly.
problem that I see with the Care, of course, is just the results are slower. It takes a whole lot more time for it to be able to target the life cycle, but I mean, it's the most beneficial and definitely better for the environment.
Yeah, that's I think I saw a Jasmine Pest Pro video once. I don't know if that was this season or last year, but she was saying she was installing Cares, but she was saying that upon initial treatment, I think she would still do a broadcast fog because of the knockdown. The initial knockdown it's too slow to get going. So
It is, yeah.
yeah,
No
Don't quote me
overnight
on that,
results.
yeah, definitely get that. Where most of the companies I know locally do mainly fogging, and it's usually a chemical fog. So I prefer to use insect growth regulators personally. So let's see.
Okay, some other weird random ones we had. We had a lot of the essentially why are mosquitoes questions. But we had one of what kind of music do they enjoy?
Oh, Brett.
Now, there's probably not a very scientific answer for this. I could be wrong. But what do you guys think?
Maybe rap.
Rock and roll? I could see that. Get some headbanging going on.
Yeah. Then you wrap it to your ears.
Personally, I think
You wrap it to your ears.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Personally, I think mosquitoes like all music, because music gets us dancing, and of course, when we're dancing, we produce more carbon dioxide, which helps them find us, which makes it the sweet spot for mosquitoes. So, personally, I think they like all music just because it gets us moving.
I bet they really enjoy outdoor concerts.
Yes, oh, I'm sure they do. Big
Better have
CO2 cloud.
Better have some stuff set up out there. Oh man, that would make me so mad to be at an outdoor concert and be getting bit up by mosquitoes at the same time.
Yes.
And that's why those recommending the use of insect treated mosquito nets as a way of controlling mosquito. I mean, we keep telling them it's not going to work. You can't be in a concert and you're covering yourself with a mosquito net. It's not going to work. It's not. It's not the solution to it. That's not the solution.
Yeah, it's not really practical to be wearing a whole net.
No.
Like, I understand the ones over the beds. Years ago when I was a little kid, I lived in Germany and they had a really bad mosquito problem. So we had like the netting over the bed so we didn't get bit up while we slept, which was really nice. But that's what I like imagine with like that netting thing is like wearing that outside. That's insane because it'd be annoying. I guess probably better than getting malaria, but
Yeah.
pick and choose, I guess.
You can put them down. Then even if you're going to have it on your bed, in an environment like ours, where there are areas you have poor power supply, and so you're going to be battling with the heat, and you're going to be battling with mosquito on one hand, and so you will prefer to remove the net and have air, coming to your rather than dying of heat.
Yeah. Now, speaking of heat, we obviously know how our environments work here. I'm not 100% sure. I'm really bad at geography. I know that Nigeria is in Africa. Don't get me wrong on there. But, like, do you guys get cold enough in Nigeria that, like, it will actually essentially kill off the mosquitoes or make them, like, not be able to produce maybe as fast? Because I know, like, in the winter here, there's not a mosquito in sight. I don't know about how it is for Jenny and Suann, but I know here personally we have like no mosquitoes in sight during like late fall into maybe late spring, depending spring wise. But how is it there for you, Francis? Are they just like literally there all year long, or do you have a break in the year?
We don't have break here. It's all year long.
Oh.
It's from dawn to dusk.
Oh, that sucks.
From dawn to dusk, you're battling mosquitoes. Wherever you go to, perhaps in the church, in your schools, and that's why it becomes very essential for business places, schools, and public places to carry out this exercise, disinfestation and treatment of mosquito, because mosquitoes are there all year long, all around the clock, and you must make sure that you take care of them. If you don't, you should be ready to spend a huge amount of money treating malaria. And if you're not lucky, when it becomes a cerebral malaria, then the person goes insane and is found in the psychiatric hospital.
Oh, that sucks. Man. That sucks. You guys get no break. Like, I'm sure that's, unfortunately, I'm sure that's great for business, but that sucks that there's like no lull in the activity at all. Damn.
but the only time, depending on your environment, the only time we get a bit of relief in my own part of where I stay is when you have constant rain. So the rain does not allow the eggs, the larvae, to survive. So there is a constant washing off, of their larvae in the drainages and all of that. So it reduces their population within that period, But for some areas, for some communities, that period when you experience a high level of rainfall, it's a problem for them because of the drainage system. It's not designed in such a way that it can flow the water. Perhaps they have a lot of ponds, they have a lot of forests, a lot of places where water can gather, so mosquito breed, so it depends on the area where you find yourself. But mosquito is an all year round crisis here in Nigeria.
Okay. And Suann, how do you keep your lights on over the winter when your mosquitoes are gone? Like, what are you up to?
So, yeah, we do get a break, usually sometime mid to end of October, and we don't usually see them until mid-April, sometimes May. They either lay eggs or they hibernate over the winter, depending on the breed of mosquito. But in the off season, so Personally, I do bookkeeping for several other businesses when I'm not out in the field, and I am out in the field. So I purchased the business that I worked for 3 years ago. This will be my third season as the actual owner. Um, but we also do snow removal and just some other like cleaning up brush from the heavy winds or snowstorms that we receive. So there's just little admin things that we do in the off season to be able to keep the lights on.
That's awesome.
Now, do
Okay.
you guys just do? I'm sorry, I was seeing if we had any more questions. So, do you just do mosquitoes, or are you a whole Gen Pest thing too that just specializes in mosquitoes?
So we really focus on mosquitoes and ticks. We do treat some other outdoor pests. We'll do like your bag bugs for like your trees and your shrubs. I actually work with another company that I actually do the bookkeeping for, that they do an organic fertilizer. And so sometimes like if they're having a pest control problem, that's an outdoor, but we only treat outdoor properties. I don't do any indoor work at all. And it is mostly seasonal work that we do. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. And what kind of ticks do you typically come across in your region, Suann?
So ticks actually, I feel like are more of a bigger problem in Pennsylvania than mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are a horrible problem in Pennsylvania. We thankfully do not have malaria in Pennsylvania, but we do, the counties that I service, we have West Nile virus, and our mosquitoes do test positive for West Nile virus. So that is a disease that we carry locally here. The ticks, which like I said, I think is our bigger issue. So we have our traditional black-legged tick or your deer tick. We have our dog tick, and we also have the Lone Star tick. Those are predominantly the ticks that we have in Pennsylvania.
Okay. And Francis, I know your business does a whole scope of stuff. You do cleaning, all that stuff. So tell us a little bit about all the other stuff you do besides mosquito.
Yeah, okay. We do more of would I say that our advocacy, the advocacy wing of our business, I mean, it's overshadowing the business aspect, and that's because of the passion I have, towards ending malaria in Nigeria, and so because what I advocate is adopting preventive measures. So you have less corporate organizations, coming to assist, coming to support what you do, because they want you to continue to advocate for curative measures. They want you to continue to advocate, use mosquito nets. They want you to continue to advocate, oh, you can get insecticide, just spray your house, and they're making more money. But we are saying preventive measures stop malaria by stopping mosquito. You can't fight malaria without fighting mosquito. Mosquito is, it's the vector that transmits it. So aside that, of course, we take care of other pests. Like yesterday, we had a call, in a facility where they had a snake problem. So we went to, take care of those snake, problems they had there. Bed bugs, ticks, duck ticks, a whole lot of pest, issues, which might come up. So basically, what we do more, and what people know us more within the industry, is because of our advocacy, when it comes to malaria. And we have also encouraged other companies, other organized pest control companies that are in Nigeria, to add advocacy to what they do, because malaria has, become a very big problem. And not just malaria. If you follow the news in Nigeria, every year it has become a recurrent decimal that every year we have problem with Lassa fever. Lassa fever is caused by rats. It's called Lassa fever because there is a community, there is a village here in far north called Lassa. So that disease was first discovered there, so they call it Lassa fever. And so it's transmitted by rats. And so every year we keep having that problem. So we have a whole lot of rats problem, especially when you have poor waste management. Definitely rodents will always want to go feed on waste, and all of that. So we have problem with rodent, and we deal with rodent also, over here.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that you get to do more than just mosquitoes. I mean, obviously that's your main scope, and then the end malaria in Nigeria. But it's cool that it's not so much of just that you kind of go brain dead to it, or you get like the burnout from it, that it's just the same repetitive over and over, and you get to do different things too. So that's good.
Definitely. Definitely. As a pest controller, you have to be versatile. You have to understand, because people might call you anytime for the problem they might be facing. And so you need to be prepared to resolve those problems. Because we are here not just as business owners, but as problem solvers. We need to solve the problem, people are having. And so when they call you, you can tell them that, sorry, I can't solve that problem. Then it doesn't make you a full branded, professional. So you must be versatile. You must be ready to face new challenges, no matter the environment you find yourself.
And that's why me and my husband, we're the ones that own my company. We are very strict on, we don't call ourselves exterminators, because we're not there to exterminate everything that we see. We're there to control and give a solution for things. That's why it's Family Pest Control.
Yeah.
There people will be like, oh, call the exterminator. I'm not an exterminator. I'm not there to kill everything that's there. Like, I make sure any of my snakes and my salamanders and any reptile or amphibian that happens to be hiding in one of my bait stations, because it's nice and toasty warm in there, gets moved if I'm treating that area. Because I don't want to kill them. They're my 24-hour pest control. Why? I don't want them to not be there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, the giving the full scope of everything really does help. So, Suann, since you're the only one left right now, my husband wanted to know, which minus the obvious of like the stagnant water thing, what are the main things that you look for when you do like an initial inspection for mosquitoes? Minus the stagnant water, if there's like certain bushes or anything that you're looking for, stuff like that. Or if it just is a stagnant water type of situation.
Well, so the bushes impact it too, just because sometimes some of your shrubbery, especially like I find your evergreen, especially because of course they're green all year long, so there's foliage there all year long. So they allow the area to be moist and damp. But then sometimes like your big oak trees and things like that, if they are like, people don't clean up their leaves underneath of them or clean out their gutters with their leaves, that just allows the perfect little, because it really, a tablespoon of water, people do not realize a tablespoon of water will breed several hundred mosquito eggs every 3 days. I mean, so if you don't clean your gutters, you're going to have a mosquito problem. If you don't clean those leaves out of your gutters and you have the moisture in there, they really need very minute amount of water to be able to reproduce.
Well, our main thing that we worry about with our clogged gutters around here are ants. I can't tell you how many times I have solved an ant problem from going, hey, your gutter's clogged.
So we have, where people have a lot of foliage around their homes and they don't clean up the leaves underneath, it's really moist, it's damp. Wood piles, I find a great deal of mosquitoes in wood piles, because of course it's a prime little moist area. It's dark, it's everything they need to be able to reproduce.
No, it's awesome. It's good to know, just in case people start, I have a lot of mosquitoes. I'm like, there's your issues. Fix it.
Yeah.
So, and of course we have, we try to educate our clients. We have people who cover our wood piles, which does allow not to have moisture necessarily, but sometimes then that tarp will gather a tablespoon of water. So of course my techs, they're great. I personally have been training them. So we kind of kick around the wall to be able to reduce, like if we just saw it rain or when we're out the day after a rain, they'll flip the kids' outside toys over so that there's no puddling water. They'll kind of pull the tarp out from around the wood pile so that the tablespoon of water disappears. Just trying to be proactive, because of course, I mean, that's something that happens on a constant basis, and we're doing our best to be able to keep it a mosquito-free environment. But I mean, you can't stop rain. We obviously need rain. I know that you say you get a lot of rain on the other side, but we are actually kind of been pretty dry this year, so we could use the rain.
Yeah, I think we got all your rain. Literally just had a question come in from Devin McLevin, if that's his name. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. He says, do dunkers work?
I believe so. That in certain environments, again, you have to be able to have. So I have a couple clients that love to feed the birds, which I know can pose its own issues with pest control. But they have bird baths and stuff out there, and they utilize the dunks in their bird baths by our recommendation. And they seem to be effective for them for that, to be able to house both ideal situations of what they're looking for.
That's awesome. I think there was one more that just came in too. It says from Preston Passmore, said, I'm curious about your opinion on droplet size when performing a misting treatment. I'm also curious about your opinion on the importance of IGRs.
So I think IGRs are great. We have to be able to stop the breeding cycle. And so I personally do not do flea treatments for your home, but I have had in my lifetime friends, family, and myself that we've had flea problems, and I can't imagine targeting a flea problem without an IGR. And so I would say the same with a mosquito problem, that is tremendous, especially if you have a high breeding site area that you want to be able to try to get control of. So IGRs, I think, are priceless. And what was the other part of that question? I'm sorry,
your opinion on droplet size when performing a misting treatment.
So, of course, the body size of a mosquito is very small. So I think the ultra low volume, which is actually what we use, is very efficient for what you need it to be able to do. So, of course, it's kind of less, it puts less pesticide out there, which is beneficial. So we use the ultra low volume. I prefer that. So
is that what you use too, Jenny? Because I know you do them.
Yes and no, because I live in a very flat part of the Midwest where it can get a little windy. Of course, if it gets too windy, I can't perform them. But if it's slightly windy, I will raise the droplet size to make sure my target goes where but I do prefer the mist as well because, like she said, it's not good to put so much product out because of runoff and whatnot.
Yay, he's back.
Yay!
So we do use a lot of plant-based materials. So I know Disney World uses garlic, and that's actually one of the ingredients we use in our blend with our ultra low volume is garlic. So
wow,
we find it to be very effective.
Now, I have heard, I thought it was just like one of those old wives' tales that if you eat a lot of garlic, mosquitoes will leave you alone.
I don't know. I do eat a lot of garlic, but I'm still a mosquito magnet, so I put garlic in almost every one of my meals that we prepare.
Yeah.
I just started taking garlic supplements, so I will let you know.
All right.
Because I don't eat a lot of garlic, but I know it's got a lot of anti-inflammatory properties and whatnot. My knees have been swelling, so I'm trying to work on that. Good stuff. I do want to let everybody know to check out our buddies, me and Kandyce. I would say me and Kandyce both are #1 fans of Tales from the Crawl Space. Definitely. Yes. I love how in their last lives, you and I are like, comment. So, yeah. And if you listen to the Pest Perspectives with our buddy Sean Muller, that Tales from the Crawl Space was on, they shout us out and they say a lot of love for us. So, Kandyce and I really have based a lot of what we do off of what they do, because why ruin something that works, right? I mean,
don't fix what ain't broken.
Exactly. Just throw a little female twist on it. And exactly. And then the whole reason that I met Sir Francis is because of our friends from Beauties and Beasties. So I was a guest on Beauties and Beasties, and before I started watching back through all their episodes, and Francis was on it. He did a really good job, and he's done a great job today with us too. So thank you for being my friend, Francis. And then Suann and I go back like a year almost now, or at least quite a while. And I got to work with her too. And one thing I did want to mention, and will be in the YouTube video pictures and stuff, maybe links in the description, is all the different things that both Suann and Francis have been like on the news. They've been they're steeples in their communities for mosquito control. So it's amazing. You should check them out. I would say for the whole pest control community worldwide, these two are experts that you can reach out to if you have any questions, anything like that. Anything
thank you.
I'm forgetting.
It's been great being a guest. So
Yes. Thank you for coming, both of you. It's been amazing.
We appreciate your time on this Sunday, well, morning for me, afternoon and evening, since we're
Yeah.
all over the world here.
I
But
love
we
it.
appreciate you taking time out of your day on a Sunday to come talk with us and share your knowledge of mosquitoes and how we can combat them and get them under control and end malaria and end the West Nile virus and all the other crap that they spread around to everything.
I mean, it's been an exciting time. I mean, since I got connected with Jenny. She's been an amazing person, and I like seeing you work. In this part of the world, we have a less female participating in pest control, and so I love to see, women, in this field, in a male-dominated industry. I love to see the women, do exploits, in this industry, and I'm so excited when I see both of you and all the female we have there. Keeping their heads high and representing us, in this industry. And I hope, and the truth is, if we want to keep this, if we want to sustain this industry, because we are in a period where people want to want to go to industries where they can make a huge amount of money at a time, and if we must keep this industry going, we must be intentional about it. We must have more women in this industry. We must have more young people, coming to this industry to take it, to the next level, to make sure that this industry, does not, it's not a thing of the past in the coming period, because there's going to be outbreak of diseases, in the coming period. There are going to be issues that has to do with vectors, transmitting diseases and all of that. And the only people who can take care of these are professionals, like you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
yeah, thank you guys. You're truly an inspiration. I know Jenny posts on Facebook all the time and just so inspirational, keeping everybody going. So
Yeah, she's my girl. Love that.
Thank you guys. I love you guys.
Going off of what Francis said, it is like we need to have the women and the youth, because it's a constant changing career that we're in here. And if it's constantly the same kind of people over and over and over, the idea is going to get stagnant and nobody's going to be willing to learn and adapt when nature has learned and adapt. We have to do it too. And sometimes being the step ahead of it is going to help. So having those new ideas, the fresh eyes, the different perspective, because we've talked about it a million times, women have a different perspective on this industry than men do. But they work together if you let them work together and not do that, well, you're a man, what do you know? Or you're a woman, what do you know? Or you're too young to get this, or you're too old, or you're just stuck in your ways. Everybody's going to have an idea, and everybody needs to just mesh them together and come up with the new solution if it's needed, and listen to everybody's experience and sometimes inexperience, because the new idea works sometimes.
Exactly. It is 2025. Discrimination should have been, for age, anything, gender, whatever.
Yeah.
It's 2025. Like, yeah.
Get over it.
We are right now, we are on a podcast with somebody on the other side of the world. We are way more advanced than hating on somebody for
anything.
having a different sex, gender, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So absolutely awesome. Well,
Our Chamber of Commerce, last year was the first year for this event, and I'm really excited to be able to participate with it again in May. They do what is called a touch-a-truck, and so it's geared towards youth to try to build our youth to want to be able to do jobs of service. And so, of course, we set up, and I go through to prep and pressure wash everything so that there's really no chemicals for the kids to be in. I kind of feel like a blank truck that's there, but it's not 100% there, so that they can, and I take bugs that I have in resin to be able to show them, to try to build interest so that we build the next generation of pest control people. So we have to start while they're young. So
Yeah. That's
I love
awesome. I wish ours did something like that, but
yeah,
whatever.
definitely. I don't know if pest control is technically considered a skilled trade, but I think it should be.
I think it should be.
oh, I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys have,
I mean,
put together how many years of knowledge and experience?
exactly. You
It's
just don't
definitely
have to
a
go
skilled trade.
right. You just don't have to go to a trade school for it.
There's a
But
lot of things, plumbing, electrical,
Yeah.
some things need the trade school, but some is hands-on learning, and that's what this is all about.
exactly.
I mean, we still have to study and test and be licensed.
Exactly. Yeah, we're certified with the state. I have to maintain a license. I have to take classes on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pest control should be a course in in any university. It should be so that young people can actually take towards that field. It's a fantastic field that every young person. I mean, most people don't perhaps in this part of the world don't uh, know that pest control is a professional. Is a professional work.
Right.
Someone tells you he's a pest controller, and you like, does that put food on your table? And funny enough, we have over the Nigerian market is so large, it's so huge that we don't have enough hands, to do, I mean, doing pest control here in Nigeria. And like I said, like you are aware, uh, we have our continental association, which is the African Pest Control Association, which I'm the youth president. And in the coming period, I mean, what we've been doing is we're trying to raise young people and advise, and encourage more women to join across Africa. We have 54 countries in Africa, and in marking World Malaria Day, which is coming up on the 25th of April, I definitely with one other person, within the association, will be visiting another African country, to mark the World Malaria Day, in that country, to also raise the banner and raise the advocacy on the need to end malaria, in Nigeria. And hopefully there's no there's no knowledge you want to gain without practical experience of where of that environment. And so, in the coming period, you should also see how you can visit, other places, other locations, especially here in Africa. So you get to have a practical knowledge, practical experience, and we will do the same. I'm looking forward in the coming period. Maybe you will invite me to the US to come and have a practical knowledge of some of the things you face over there.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of it's the same, but like completely different. But yeah, that would be cool. Because I bet it would be just like eye-opening for, well, everybody. For you seeing the new stuff, for us to be like, you don't have to deal with this. This is like our most common thing here. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Because I've even done that with Jenny, and we're just, in the same country, just, hours apart from each other, time zone wise.
Right.
But yeah, being over there in October, it was, just seeing the different type of insects there, and I'm going, what? We don't have this. What are you talking about?
Right. That's like me talking to Sean Moeller from the UK. I do like 80% of cockroach. That's like probably my most common pest. And I think he's done like one cockroach job just because his area doesn't really have them. So it's wild how, depending on where you are, I mean, like everybody always thinks like Australia, of course, like they have everything's trying to kill you there. But like, you know.
Well, it's like we don't do a lot of bed bug jobs here. I think we usually get like one a year. And that's it. I wish we got more sometimes so I could use apprehend, but one a year isn't going to cover apprehend.
I get a lot here. So you can have some.
Okay. I'll take the money for it.
Right, there you go.
Maybe you're gonna do a swap, and you go to her location and she goes to your location. So you deal with cockroaches and she deal with bedbug. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a good show. Instead of like wife swap, it's pest control swap.
That
Like,
would
you
be
go-
very cool.
And I get to learn how to do mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
so,
welcome to
you
come over
have to swap with Suann.
I find myself in Nigeria, like, oh God, what do I do?
Help.
You're gonna enjoy the weather. You have a lot of more of a you have more of a cold there. Here we have warm weather. Yeah,
right. I would end up there and be like, all right, this is vacation.
You enjoy yourself. Nigeria is a very nice place to be, despite all our challenges. But it's a nice place to be. I mean, you're really gonna meet. Recently, we hosted some team from China who came around. Like 3 weeks ago, they came around to understand how we do our pest control here and the pesticide we use. They wanted to open a factory here in Nigeria. So I and the president of APCA hosted them here in Nigeria, and we taught them all the things they need to know, and all that. So you can decide your next vacation you want to come to Nigeria and see the things you've been hearing of, have a practical, first-hand experience and the practical knowledge of all of these things.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Right?
Pest control swap. I'm down.
Pestrogen goes to Nigeria. Come on,
Yeah, there we
Kandyce,
go.
let's go.
On location.
Right. Me and Suann are pretty. I'm Ohio. She's Pennsylvania. We're pretty like similar. I have had a Pennsylvania license, even though I never practiced there. I think my employer planned to send me there for like a week here, a week there, whatever, and I refused because my babies were too little at the time. That was like 3 years ago. But I think me and Suann are pretty much the same climate-wise for the most part. Are you mountainous where you're at?
I'm actually right in between two mountain ranges, which can be a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it will prevent the snow or the storm if it's coming from the west, but if it comes up the Chesapeake Bay, there's nowhere for it to go but to dump right on us. And so,
Man, that's how I grew up, was in a valley, but now I moved north and I'm just in like flat Ohio where there's nothing but corn. And
corn is good.
Corn is great. It's fine.
I'm having chili today, so cornbread is a perfect complement to that.
Yeah. You can only have so much cornbread.
I'm in between the ocean and a coastal mountain range, so it's not huge mountains, but we get a lot of everything stuck, from everything coming from the ocean, and then it gets stuck by the mountains, and then we just get dumped on. Hence why we had lots of flash flooding in the past few weeks. It's been crazy.
Wow.
But it has
I haven't been able to go to certain places because like their water was literally like 5 feet high on the road. And I'm going, I can't get to you. I don't know what to tell you.
Not to mention your tsunami warnings.
Yes, we had
crazy.
tsunami warnings.
Jeez.
We had one randomly go off one day, and my youngest is still in high school, and he's like, you want to come get me? Sure, just right up the road, buddy. I'll be there in a minute. And then some teacher was yelling at him because he was walking the wrong way, and he said, no, I'm not. My parents are right there. Bye. That's a good thing about him is he will just leave. He's very just, this is what's going on. you're not telling me otherwise. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not going to
yep,
be at
that's my boy.
school during a tsunami. Screw that.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
Kandyce, what kind of pets do you experience in your location?
here we deal mostly with rodents. We always have rodent issues around here, and it's mainly mice. We do get rats, obviously, but it's mainly mice that we deal with. And then just like your typical like ants, and then your occasional invaders like the pill bugs and sow bugs and millipedes, your water, they're there for the moisture issue, and we do have fleas because it never gets hot enough or cold enough to kill them off. So people have fleas all year round here, all year. And they're like, I thought they would die. No, absolutely not. So yeah, we do flea jobs and, day before Christmas because family's coming. Oh, okay. Thank you. And we do have, here specifically on the coast, we only deal with like German cockroaches. Very seldomly we'll get, I think my husband said he's seen Orientals like once, but it was a little bit more to the east, not right here on the coast. A lot of people don't realize that we have cockroaches here until I tell them, oh yeah, I just came from a cockroach job. And they're like, we have cockroaches here? Because they're thinking like the big American cockroaches. And I'm like, no, not those. Just the little bitty ones. But yeah, we do Gen Pest. Just generally everything. My husband is licensed in structural for termites and all your wood destroying. My company currently is not dealing with wood destroying because we just don't have the rig for it right now. We're still a baby company. I'm not trying to take out a huge amount of debt to get that, which I know would eventually pay itself off. But once again, not a whole lot of termite jobs here either. I mean, we have one company locally that we refer people off to. Like Brandon will inspect for it and then be like, yeah, give these guys a call. They've done great work. And
That's awesome.
It's maybe because we're coming up on 4 years open this September. I think maybe we referred for termites maybe 4 or 5 times. So it's like, I know termite work is good work, but at the same time, I'm not taking out that big of a loan to get all of that rig. And then, because that also means I would have to own a truck and I don't want to.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
We also have a lot of termite issues here, and definitely we, especially where you're having new construction sites, where you have a new site where people are building houses, you have termite, issues. You have more termite building their mods and all of that, and it's like I said, it's a very huge industry here in Nigeria. You just can't run out of jobs, here in Nigeria, as long as you are good at what you do and you're licensed to carry out, pest control here in Nigeria. So I do hope in the coming period there's this global fraternization, where we see ourselves as members of a global body that need to sustain the industry and continue to promote, professionalism, within the industry. And that would help younger generation to grow and to see us as one. That wherever you go to, like Jenny and I were able to connect. Sean and I were able to connect. Why? Because we were able to locate ourselves, as professionals in the industry, and that's what we want in the coming period, where people will see themselves, no matter your location, you'll be able to cross-fertilize ideas, you'll be able to share your experiences, and it will help, others to grow, wherever location they are. And that's the kind of, harmony I want to see, in the industry.
Yes. Yeah.
I do enjoy that, being able to talk with people from, recently just all over the United States and now all over the world. It's cool being able to do that and see what's so similar and what's so different from what we're allowed to do, what chemicals are allowed to be used, everything like that. It's really cool to me.
Yeah. And I think being able to be harmonious like that is going to teach us a lot. Like I've been learning a lot from my friends there in the UK, and it makes me question a lot of what we do here in the States, and that's good. Everything should be questioned. We should collaborate. We're all professionals, and we're guiding the world together, and I think it's awesome. But so I did want to mention too that next week we are doing Business is Soaring. We're going to be talking about marketing with Jasmine Pest.
Yay!
Woo!
I'm so excited.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Love you, Jasmine. So we are excited about that. And yeah, definitely stay tuned in for that, and check out the links in the blog that's going to come with this. It's going to have way more information about both Suann and Francis. So thank you guys so much for joining us today.
It was
Thank you.
our pleasure to host you guys. Thank you for, like I said, taking your time out of your Sunday to come chat with us for a while.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor being in your presence, not just as a professional, but I'm blessed among you women.
Thank
It's
you.
been
We
great talking
appreciate
with
you,
you,
Francis.
Yes. And you are all great friends. So, all right. Well, on behalf of Pestrogen Podcast, thank you so much, guys. Check out next week.